what are the things to look out for between the difference in someone is love bombing you, they're calling you all the time, texting you all the time, versus they're genuinely interested in you?
If it ever feels like too much, even in those first 2 or 3 days or a week or 2 weeks, and it feels like too much, trust yourself. Like, your partner's not going to keep you safe. So something like, hey, have fun, call me when you get home, make sure you're safe, don't take a drink. That's genuine care. Don't go out because I love you so much that I want you to be safe. That's controlled. Boundaries are something that we establish for us, right? We don't establish boundaries for somebody else to follow them. You take responsibility for what your boundaries are. Yeah, and I work with adults too. So we talk about those same topics.
Really? So the same issues teens are having.
Like that's incredible. So you are
You do
seeing
see it in adults also.
It's almost like social media has made us like more immature in a way.
I think immature,
in a
insecure,
relationship type
I say
thing.
social media is the
everything.
devil.
Welcome back to Primas, pero not really, where we are spilling tea, not tears, and healing out loud, one episode at a time. This is episode 14, and today we have Luz. I just hit the mic, my bad. We have Luz Maria Berrio, who is a clinical psychologist and testing director at South Miami Psychology Group. You've been a clinical psychologist for over 15 years, working with adolescents, young adults, focusing on trauma, anxiety, domestic violence, women's issues, parenting, as well as testing for different type of disorders.
Exactly.
So kind of a lot of things that we've talked about on our show. But I think most importantly, really what connects you with us, primarily Vet, is baseball ruined your life.
Yes.
Just as it ruined hers, because your
Not
boys
as much
play
as
baseball.
Yvette's, though. She has 3 baseball players. I only have 1.
So I know that's like your trauma bond is the baseball. But we do thank you for joining us, because
Thank you for having me.
If you've watched our show, we talk a lot about just the things that went on in our marriage. Kind of, I think, just the baseline of mental, emotional abuse, things like that. And I think something in kind of prepping for today that we've discussed with you is the use of, let's just start off with a narcissist. I think it's like the buzzword of the generation of everyone is a narcissist, but yet how can you tell when someone is an actual narcissist versus this guy or female is just a jerk? They're just an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, what is the difference, and what are the things to look out for?
Okay, so there are a few token words, right? Because of social media and just because of the generational and so much information, narcissistic personality disorder and borderline personality disorder are used often now. And everybody is BPD or narcissistic. There's actually a specific book that we use to diagnose, right? So it has criteria. You have to meet 6 points over here, 3 over here. There's different things that will let you know, okay, this person fits criteria for narcissistic personality disorder or any other one. So the majority of people who we meet that we may call these things do not meet criteria.
But can we have that checklist? So like if people go on dates, they can just be like,
Just add it on to the checklist.
answer these questions,
So they
please.
do provide it.
Order appetizers.
They do provide the DSM-5 in pocket size. You can keep it in your
Nice.
pocket.
We'll link it with the episode. Don't
No,
worry.
but I think that's why we're here, though, to discuss these
what are the
these little
different-
things that we see that could be green flags, red flags. There's also pink flags, which I call a lot, which are not okay. Pink flag, you got to go. No, it's pink flag. How many pink flags can these become?
Okay.
Red flags. So there's a lot of fluidity in how you should approach.
It's like you're picking and choosing what you want to deal with.
Right, because we can each deal with different things.
Yeah.
Right? So what may be a red flag for me may not be for you, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So so the DSM is really specific about what the personality disorder actually is, but we do have a lot of people with high narcissistic traits or high borderline traits. We all need narcissism. I don't know if you guys, when you hear that, what you think, but we all need a bit of a narcissist in us to succeed, or else we wouldn't have.
I mean,
Interesting.
I usually say, like, I think all of us to some degree are narcissistic. Some probably just more than
more than
others, So
Right. And I guess we could say the malignant narcissistic part is the part that comes from insecurity, right? So when you have like the highly narcissistic traits in people, the stem is insecurity, right? A poorly developed ego. Because a lot of times we say, oh, that person has a big ego, but it's used differently than in psychology. For us, we should have a developed ego. A fragile ego shows up as narcissistic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, with your adolescent patients, do you see that underdeveloped ego, and do you see those narcissistic traits developing?
Yes. So an underdeveloped ego is what you will see in every adolescent, right? Because they're all developing. They are, you can put a sign on their forehead, under construction, right? In every way. Executive functioning, personality, ego, all of that is developing. So you will see traits that may be, upcoming, or traits that will develop in the future. So yeah, you can see some of the controlling or some of those insecure tendencies in adolescent boys and girls.
So when we say like our kids are acting selfish as hell, it's like,
It's okay.
kind of normal for
It
their
is.
age. Oh, that
It is.
sucks.
So it's funny because, yeah.
Right? It's like, damn, that's
And it's funny because you can say like, oh my goodness, like their moods are ups and down. Well, you know what? That's normal.
yeah.
You need that.
Yeah.
That's normal adolescence. If you have an adolescent who, this is my clinical opinion, if you have an adolescent who is following every single rule and who is like overdoing it, then you need to worry. The norm is for them.
Great.
I am too. No. The norm is for them to push, for them to seek autonomy by pushing the limits, for them to try and develop independence and see what's safe and what's not, and to see how their parents react or how their family members react. That's all normal, right?
So kind of understanding. So that's more on the parental level. So like
Right.
for Yvette and I, we have, I would say like borderline young adults at this point.
I
So
had a
for
question as well when we're finished, and then before I forget mine.
So like for us, it's young adults, especially with like her oldest and my youngest, and even my oldest who's college level. Like when should they start looking for those red flags? When the behaviors of the other person should kind of, it's not a pink flag, it's not a green flag, it's a red flag. What are the things that they should be looking out for that's not healthy for the long term?
Well, I think it should be also included in the earliest talks about relationships. Now we see kids and even us, we had crushes at 14, 15, even at that age, you should start talking about healthy and unhealthy relationships. Because unfortunately, we follow patterns, all right? Yeah. We all carry this invisible backpack of trauma and patterns that we picked up from our parents and generational trauma from grandparents and stuff like that. So we pass that stuff on sometimes. But repairing that is by educating our kids since, 14, 15 years old about relationship stuff. So I don't know, for a 14-year-old, if they stop calling their friends and talking to their friends because they're texting the little crush or the girlfriend, or she wants to, or he wants to FaceTime all the time, and that's a little much, and those are kinds of signs that you can see as early as that age.
Well, something, and we were talking, hold on, you know what? Because you were going to forget. So
No. The thing is, it's
the moment's gone.
no, yeah, because it's not going to make sense. It's not. Give it a second. We'll circle back.
Okay. We'll circle back. We'll come back. So like we were talking before we started filming, it's what I find is a lot of my kid and her friend group is they all share locations. But why? Like, what could you possibly need my child's location for? You don't drive. So in the event, it goes back to what we talked about before. In the event of an emergency, ¿qué vas a hacer?
You can't even.
What are you going to do? And you don't have my number to call me.
Yeah, like what
to
are we
say,
doing?
your child is in danger. So
Right.
I'm just trying to understand, like, what is it about this being
almost like a
connected all the time?
Yeah, but it's almost like a FOMO of like.
It is. It is. And it comes up so often in my sessions.
And I'm
with these
sorry, I
beautiful
just use an
adolescents.
acronym, and I think I deserve.
You know what?
An applause for that.
Am I supposed to clap?
Yes, because the fact that she knows what it means, it's very, very exciting.
Big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal here.
So, I see the location sharing more as feeling included. Not necessarily I need to know where my friends are. It's feeling included, because if I know where they are, then I can see if I'm included in everything. And if they want to know where I am, it's because I'm needed and I'm included.
Oh, interesting.
So that's the way I view it. And I do discuss a lot, like the Snapchat map and all that stuff with these teenagers that I work with, because it plays a really big role. This is what they focus on when their relationships, their friendships, going out, the weekends, it's all planned around where people are going to be, who am I connected with, who am I not.
Just out of curiosity, do you feel like that has something to do with like a trusting thing too? Like, oh, you told me you were here, but you're not.
100%.
Like that's also
100%.
when it comes down to the friendship.
Yeah.
Your friend lies to you then.
100%. And I can tell you, like sitting with a lot of these young adolescents that I adore, when you really talk to them and you ask them about social media, they hate it.
Really?
They hate it. When
But
you
they're
really,
on it.
Some of my
all
dance,
the
some of my dance
time.
students would say that too. That they feel like it's like a comparison thing. Like they want to see it, but they feel bad when they see it.
It's like a necessary evil right now for them.
Right.
Yeah, it's like they're comparing themselves to everything that they see, and they know that they're not gonna get that. So it's like it affects their egos and their
just so many different things. Like in a young relationship that I worked with one part of the young relationship. I think they were like 17. And, they would argue all the time, not because anything happened in person or not any conversation that they had, but based on what the other person was posting or what the map showed about the other
or if
person.
they liked someone's photo or
Yes.
commented.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And the one that I was working with, like, noticed. Like, I said, oh, so the argument was about what? And they were like, freaking social media. Like, nothing else. If we would not have looked at Instagram or Snap, we'd be okay.
And they dig deep because sometimes they'll even look at like if people are following this person or like even just
No, they do. Oh, you have 25 followers today. You
Yeah.
had 24 yesterday. Who's the new one? And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah.
that's a
There's
lot of
some
energy.
friends that I know that were in
I
relationships.
barely
It's a lot
remember
of
my
time.
phone number. You're remembering numbers of followers. Like I'm just like, wow. Like
I know.
Or like losing their streaks. So they have streaks. Where,
oh,
yeah,
yes,
the
I've heard
snap
about
thing.
that.
That's
like if I don't
another one.
respond, I'm going to lose my streak.
Right. And so
I don't know
like,
what that
and then if
means.
your friend doesn't respond, so you're on a streak with a friend and you've messaged every single day. So you want to make sure you message every single day to keep your streak up.
No, that's how the algorithm keeps you.
And that
locked
makes
in.
you dependent on that daily message. Like it's about dependency. And social media, I know that there's been a lot of research and you probably already know, but it's 13 and up because that's when the brain is most addictive at age 13 and 14. That's when our brain is seeking all the social stuff. So perfect time to introduce social media.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I mean, we talk about adolescence, but people our age are on that same bullshit.
We're all, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yes.
Because I know plenty that are about my age that are on that same. Do you have my location? Were you here 5 minutes longer? Why? Like, and it's just like,
Yeah.
What I
It's
see
a
a lot
lot.
in adult
that's
relationships
a
is
red
the liking, in the comment. Why'd you like that
why'd you
picture
it?
like that?
But it's
Why
not
did you
even, like,
comment? Like,
the fact that you're even like going on to like your significant other's social media to see whose page they've liked or I saw. I'm just like to me it's
That's
just
a
it's
lot.
a lot.
It's a lot.
And
Those
if
are
it's
all
that
red
much, like
flags.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are all huge red
if I have to
flags.
go on that mission to be with you, like
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like it's
We're
kind of
good.
like it goes back to the checking of the phone. That's just so
like
much
no,
energy.
like no, I'm not doing it. Not gonna.
Right,
much
and that's
energy.
and even for the adolescents and the young adult, for everybody, you have to share your passcode, like as a must. Not hey, what's your passcode? I want to look at something, and then you just tell
or
your partner.
yes.
But as a must, I need to have your password, and you can't have Instagram anymore. Those are all red flags, right? Because
That's not
that's
even a little
controlling.
pink.
Trying to control.
That's not even
Well,
pink.
Yeah,
because
no,
there are,
that's
like,
not
who
even
do you
pink.
follow who follows you like what like there's a lot of that there's like we obviously we see a lot of adolescents but there are a lot of adults who are also dealing with that same
Oh yeah,
man
and
a
also
lot.
you see it with the adults of like, do you have more male followers versus female followers, and the videos that go viral, and I don't even know what that means. Like, what is the magic number for that? But it's all of those things of
yeah, and I work with adults too, so we talk about those same topics.
really. So the same issues teens are having.
Oh yeah.
But that's
You know?
that's kind of
Sad.
sad.
That is-
It's not
it
sad
is.
because
Yeah.
I find it sad.
It is.
Yeah.
Like if my oldest is 17, gonna be 18. If he and I are parallel in the things that we're going through, like I think that's a red flag. Like that to me is just like one of us is doing something very very wrong. And
Right.
like,
Yeah.
What's
and
happening in society? Really, it's like,
exactly.
what is going on?
yeah, like that's incredible. So you are
you do
seeing it.
see it in adults also, where they go through the Instagram, and you have too many girls on your Instagram, you need to take them off. And why did you like this? And
It's almost like social media has made us like more immature in a way.
I think immature,
in a
insecure,
relationship
I
type
say
thing.
social media is the
Everything.
devil. I always have.
Right.
I've said
Yeah.
it since like the Facebook days.
It's
the
almost
MySpace
like
days.
what is it?
Top 10.
That necessary
top
evil.
10.
MySpace top 10.
Tom.
That's when. Yes, Tom. That's when
Remember, Tom was always one.
Started.
He was always one. When you started your page, he was always the first
He
one.
was. He was.
It's a necessary evil.
Where's Tom?
Where's Tom? Did we ever figure out who Tom was?
Isn't he the guy with the board?
Yes,
He
was
was
the face.
right?
He was
like
the
one
MySpace
guy
guy.
with the
He was
board.
the founder, no?
Yeah, he was the MySpace guy.
yeah.
But I'm like, what happened to Tom?
So he was
Where
all
is
of our
he?
friends.
We have to
got
blame.
rich
This
and
is
left.
Tom.
That's
Tom's
what
the
he
one that
did. He
started
cashed
social
out.
media. Wasn't MySpace the first social media thing?
So MySpace was one of the first. It was also Hot or Not. There was Black
Hot or
Planet.
not? What is that? Hot or not?
Espérate.
Hot or Not.
Really?
Yes, it was Hot or Not. Black Planet.
No, I
I
didn't.
don't know those.
Well,
I
because
just know
Black Planet was
MySpace.
not for our demographic. MySpace and then Facebook when it started was just college kids. You had to have a college email to be able
Right.
to get
Yes,
Facebook.
I do remember
That's right.
that.
I saw the movie. I remember.
Well, I mean, I remember
I saw
just
the movie.
because I was in college when it came out.
I was not. I was already past college, so I saw the movie, and that's how I learned. But and I know something that we had also talked about, like with dating, whether it's adolescents or adults, right? It's the love bombing versus someone genuinely likes you. So, like, what is that difference? What are the things to look out for there, especially as our kids, as I said, are young adults, and really will start getting into those serious relationships, long-term relationships, like. What are the things to look out for between the difference in someone is love bombing you, they're calling you all the time, texting you all the time, versus they're genuinely interested in you?
Okay, so let's look at it this way. Any attention that we get is a dopamine hit, right? So everything feels good. So if you're called beautiful, you're going to love it. If you are called, and text by your crush, you're going to love it. However, if it ever feels like too much, even in those first 2 or 3 days or a week or 2 weeks, and it feels like too much, trust yourself. Like trust, okay, if you're out with your girls and then this person who you like is texting you many times, or, oh, where are you? Why didn't you include me? Like things like that.
I was like,
Those are all,
No.
because that's always a type of love bombing. Like, oh, I would love to be there with you, but you had plans with your friends and now they're trying to include themselves. So really look at, is this genuine interest in me? Do they know me enough to love me or think I'm so special? Because, we don't know people in a week or 2 weeks. Our brain feels amazing when it gets attention, but do we really know somebody to love them or to want to be with them every minute? And if somebody is approaching you like that, then there's, in my opinion, there's a red flag.
funny because I hear you talking and I'm thinking of this Peloton instructor that she, her husband proposed to her on the third day and they've now been married for several years. They have 2 children. So it's kind of like, again, it's that scenario of,
when do you know?
when do you know?
Right. And
Right?
and of course you're going to hear those cases. You hear them all the time and they end up healthy. But, statistically, speaking,
rarity.
and
That's
research,
like-
that's very rare.
I'm sure they've probably been through a
very
lot
rare.
too, maybe.
Right.
Like we don't,
Right. Yeah.
and they just stuck it through.
So love bombing is actually like the primary red flag. But differentiating between love bombing and not is hard, especially for the adolescent brain and the young adult brain, right?
Because I would think, granted, even as adults, someone eats up that attention, but I would think even, obviously I'm a girl, so I'm going to go back to my high school days. If you're like that young girl, like just getting that attention, maybe, it's just, you're going to hold on to it and kind of just, I guess, tolerate then whatever follows after that.
Right. Like you hear things from the adolescents that I've worked with or the young adults, such as like, because he loves me so much or because she cares about me so much, that's why they don't want me to go out, to keep me safe. That's a red flag, right? So you're phrasing it as love, and it was probably phrased as love and care by the partner, but it genuinely, how you should keep yourself safe. Your partner's not going to keep you safe. So something like, hey, have fun, call me when you get home, make sure you're safe, don't take a drink, that's genuine care. Don't go out because I love you so much that I want you to be safe. That's controlling, right? So it's a big distinction.
Yeah.
Now for like parents, because let's face it, I don't know about you. My kids don't listen to me. They don't. But Yvette can come in, say the exact same thing, and
It's like an
suddenly it's
epiphany.
like, oh
An
my God,
epiphany. It's
Yvette
like-
just had this like, it's like Jesus and the apostles came down and spoke through her, and it was the most miraculous thing. So, as parents, obviously, we can probably, as outsiders looking in, see the behavior, but then like, what do you do?
What do you do? That's tough. That's tough as a parent, because we know that saying, "Hey, don't see him," and that's you shouldn't
they're
be
sneaking out the window or something.
That means they're going to do it more.
Yeah.
Because they're establishing their independence and they know best. Making statements like, "Hey, if you ever want to talk to me, and if something just doesn't feel right, I'm here," right? Discussing how do you feel when I don't know, he or she does that. Like, hey, is it okay that he's always joining you when you're out with your friends? How do you feel about that? Without making it a judgment, but making it like a conversation. Not saying it's going to work, but trial and error.
Or maybe just send you to go talk.
Like, just send me the bullet points.
I was going to tell you, just,
give her this checklist.
Have Yvette ask those questions. But yeah, just always being very open. Like, I'm here if you have questions, if you need anything. And I know they don't think that we were young and we went through stuff. Like, we're just the parent, the mom. But sometimes relating it to you. Like, I remember I had a boyfriend that used to do this and this, and I hated it.
Yeah.
You ever feel that? Let me know if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, like putting yourself in their position so they feel like you understand.
Yeah, and that can work in every situation, right?
Yeah.
So there's one thing that I don't want to say like I pride myself on, but something I will say, like, I'm very transparent with my kids of, my past when I was in high school and things like that. Because to your point, it's kind of like I was 16, 17, 18 at one point in my life. And so I've kind of heard both sides of it of like, oh my God, how can you tell them that you did that? It was almost like, why would you tell them? It's almost like you're encouraging them to do it versus the flip side of, no, they know that I did it. So one, you're not going to get away with shit. Primero que nada. Number two, I've been in your shoes. So what, I guess from your perspective, like, what is a healthy balance of how much to share about your childhood antics versus, I know some parents that it's like their kids think, I don't know, like their parents were just born and became parents and they had absolutely no life in between.
Right. And that's not healthy, right? Because then if they think there's this perfect parent that will never understand what they felt.
I just feel like I would be unapproachable.
Right, yeah. Exactly. So, being honest about where you've been, what you've done, and things like that is totally healthy because then they can see you as a human, which they sometimes fail to see you as that. Don't share your traumatic experience, right?
Just not your therapist.
Don't traumatize them with your trauma. But being open and letting them know I was there too. I felt this, I felt that, I went through that. Joking about things, mistakes that you made kind of makes you feel more relatable. But still being that parent, right? You don't want to be the friend.
Right.
Because,
I'm not your friend. I'm your parent. I'm not your friend.
Right.
I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to keep you alive.
Exactly.
Right. We're here. Well, yes. I can be
and
your
like,
friend
sometimes.
like,
be safe. Like,
but we want
keep you from doing stupid shit.
Yeah,
like,
we want to raise responsible adults. Right?
Maybe when
That's
you're
job.
married and have kids, then it's a
then
whole
we can be
different-
friends. When you have kids and you realize, oh right, mom, I get it now.
Right.
Like, then we can be friends.
Right. That's when they become your friends.
But even then, there can be like an unhealthy line because there's a show. You know me on TLC. Anyway, there's a show called Smothered. And I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I haven't.
It is the most, talk about lack of boundaries between, it's the mom, right? Because it's mothered, with whatever child. It could be a male child or a female child. But it's more of like they're besties. And they like, sometimes it's a single mom with a single daughter. And they're going out clubbing together and things like that. And I'm like, no. Like they're still, even if I have a 20 some odd year old daughter, there's still going to be some boundaries in place. Like my kid doesn't need to see how I party.
Right.
She doesn't need to see bingo night. Like, there's just certain boundaries. So even then, I think there comes a point where like, yeah, we're friends, pero
Right.
with some boundaries.
Yeah, there's some boundaries. And that's another big thing with relationships, right? The boundaries. Boundaries are something that we establish for us. Right? We don't establish boundaries for somebody else to follow them. And that's something to talk to a lot about relationships. Like your boundaries are yours because that's what you need. So like, for example, I have to study today, so I'm going to be off my phone, right? That's your boundary to your partner. But the other way to do it, which would not be the healthiest, is putting it on somebody else. Like, don't text me today because I'm studying, right? You take responsibility for what your boundaries are. And we'd have to talk to our kids about how they impose their boundaries And whoever can follow their boundaries, great. Whoever can't, then that's a pink flag.
Right.
Right? So that's a big thing in relationships too.
I had a question. This has nothing to do with relationships. Doesn't. Like for example, your daughter dances, is graduating. My son, my baseball player, graduating. Do you feel like a lot of these kids who have always been in the spotlight during high school, once high school's over and once that spotlight's gone, do you feel like they struggle with
Identity?
that, not having that anymore? That I'm no longer the athlete, the dancer, the cheerleader, do you feel like,
Are they like chasing something?
like that they chase something? I mean, I always worry about it because my kids, eventually, they will eventually like stop playing at some point in time in their life.
Right.
When it will be, I don't know. But I always wonder, like, they're so used to being the baseball player, and that's, I'm not gonna say that's the only way they identify themselves, but that's
what they're known for.
That's what they're known for. It's like, oh
Yeah.
him, I played against him. I always played whatever. Like he played with that kind of, and all of their friends are all, do you feel like I said, not just the boys, like I think the girls as well. Like, do you think that once that, I guess what they call it now, that era is over, like, do you see that they're just kind of like,
What do I do?
like, oh my God.
Well,
I'm no longer the cheerleader. I'm no longer the dancer. I'm no longer the baseball player. I have to, what do I do after school now?
who
There's
am
no
I?
baseball practice.
Who
Like,
am
what do
I?
I do?
Right.
Like,
Who
like,
am
what
I?
do I
yeah, and
do?
I think it's a valid thing, right? Because change is difficult for everybody. So it is the end of an era. But endings also bring beginnings, right? So that's why it's very healthy to nurture all parts of a person, right? Amazing baseball player, but let's also look at other interests and other things that you're good at. Because, there's going to come that time where now you're in college and you're playing baseball or you're dancing, or it's just become a very different setup. And now there's
Or
a
maybe you're no
different
longer
focus.
playing
Or maybe
baseball.
you're not
You don't
playing
play
baseball.
Because like in your case, he will continue to play baseball, but in my case, my daughter's choosing
dancing.
not
Yeah,
to
she's
dance
choosing.
anymore. So even though for her, she's very excited to get free time back, like I'm not gonna be rehearsing, but it's still, that has been a huge part of her life since she was 2.5.
I mean, I'm
And
assuming
now,
it's different when they're ready to walk away from it, because my son does
Yeah.
have friends that have decided they want to go to this school and they're not going to play baseball.
Right.
But I always wonder, like, if they're not ready to necessarily stop playing, like, how do they, like, what do you recommend? Like, I don't know, like, do
If
you see
life
that,
forces it
like,
on
do you
them?
see that, like, show up in other areas? Do you know what I mean? Like, like, for example, like, I just know, like, from what I remember, like, a lot of the guys who played baseball usually end up being police officers or firefighters, right? Like, that same, like, hero, like, look at
Oh,
me
yeah.
type of, like, do you feel like they still look for that spotlight? Because
Well,
that's what
remember,
they're used to.
so-
That's what they're...
Our personality, and this doesn't apply to everybody, but our personality really develops around life experiences. So if your whole life you've experienced being in the spotlight, or playing this big role for a school or for a university, then you might look for a career after baseball or after dance that gives you some of that spotlight in a different way, but you're still playing an important role where people can like acknowledge you.
Do you
Because
feel
our
like do you feel
personality-
like they're still always, not always chasing that, but do you feel like they're always kind of like,
missing it.
that
But
they're-
it doesn't have to be negative, right? So doesn't mean they're going to be empty and they're going to miss a part of them. No, because they can find other things to fulfill that part that's not being, filled anymore by baseball or by dance or by, the extracurricular that they were doing. But
I'm
they
gonna
can
chime in
nurture other
because
things.
I feel like that's kind of where I'm at right now.
okay?
So I'm gonna kind of answer that in my experience. So I've been in the spotlight my entire life, professional dancer, and then COVID kind of shut it all down, and that was kind of when I stopped doing stage shows. So for me, I did feel like I needed to find something that I felt
Because it wasn't by choice. It was like,
it wasn't by choice,
Okay.
but I knew that deep down inside, I've grown with that spotlight. So I was like, I want something, and I feel good when I know that I'm doing something good for myself. And because I've had that spotlight my entire life, now with the studio, I'm opening up a studio now.
Okay, good.
That's kind of something where I feel like I'm like, that spotlight as I'm an owner. of a dance studio, and I'm well established in my industry. So yes, I feel like if you're used to being in that spot, unless
still looking for that,
you're
like,
still kind of feeding for it. But like you said, it's not
Well,
necessarily
and you're also
bad, but it's
hosting a
healthy.
podcast.
Because
So here you are.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the energy is now just taking
it's just
another
shifting.
route.
And like
Yeah,
you said, it's the end of
shifting.
an era, but a beginning of one. So, but like you mentioned, it's never something bad, because if I didn't have that drive of wanting to be in the spotlight again, I think I would just be like in the room not doing anything.
Right.
But because I want that spotlight, I want to do the studio, I want to do the podcast, I want to do that, I want to do everything, because it makes me feel good knowing that I'm putting 100
But it's great
towards.
that you're finding a great way to deal with that change, right?
Yeah,
a
it's
productive
hard.
way.
It's hard.
But yeah, you are right. There are concerns about people, I'm not talking about like
I mean,
children or young
I
adults,
think
but
about
just
my boys because that's
right.
those-
But
that's
but
yeah,
just
that's
in
my
general,
concern. Like
can
eventually,
it
like,
cause
like, is there-
depression or sadness or isolate? Yeah, it can.
And I guess
it can
like,
cause
I guess
that.
like what are red
Definitely.
flags to look out for? Like for example, like my son's going away to college.
Right.
I'm not gonna be there every day.
Yeah.
Is there something that I should be like looking for or kind
Well,
of like and he and I have a I think a pretty
I would
good
say
relationship.
encouragement to keep pushing, because that was one thing. Like when I had my kids, I went through depression. I felt like I just didn't know what my value. I didn't know what my purpose was in life. I didn't know if I wanted to keep dancing, if I wanted to do that. So what happened? I had a very supportive mom that was like, keep pushing, do this, do. So I think from experience, encouraging them to continue following their dreams in that sense helps them kind of. If he did get to that place where he was like
Right,
not
but-
feeling like he wanted to do it, but
Like you said, look for the red flags, right? So if he's isolating himself, if he's not mentioning new friends, that's when you are concerned. But if he's out with friends and I'm going to a study group and then he's
Yeah.
fine.
I mean, I'm saying because like both of our kids are going away for school and like
Yeah.
we're used to having them at home, so it's
Right.
kind of like when they're having an off day, I see him walk in and I know he's having an off day.
You feel the energy. It's
but now
oh,
I'm like.
They may be doing better than you ladies are doing.
When
You're
he's
right.
away, like it's like
Yeah.
is he gonna have that? Who is he gonna like
who's he gonna go to?
because he's not even with his
Right.
like group
His
of friends.
friend
Like
group, yeah.
he's going into like a whole new world. It's not like he's going up there with his team. He's going up there by himself. And I always obviously as a mother, I'm concerned.
Yeah,
making
and
sure that
I will
everything's
tell you,
okay.
I work with a lot of I've worked with a lot of high school seniors within transition to freshmen in college. And I followed them through the transition. For most kids, the first 3 to 4 months are tough. They are hard. They feel the homesickness. They feel a lot of things. Just being there, supporting them and listening to them and asking questions and reminding them that you're there, and that's what's going to get them through that. And obviously you in the background listening, like really listening. Do I hear that they have friends? Did they make a new friend? Are they studying with people, or are they always in the room isolated? That's where you become that detective, but not in their face, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you do. But usually they will be okay after the first semester.
I tell myself that because he's going to play, like from what I've heard, it's like it's different. Like they're getting there, but they're gonna know, even though they don't know the baseball players, they're gonna work out with each other every morning.
Yeah.
It's a little different. Like it's not like they have to go out and make friends in class. It's kind of like, all right, these are your built-in friends for the next, whatever.
Well, I mean, I will say it's so different from like when we were going to college. Like with mine, like I said, she's not going to be dancing, but just for the dorms, there was already like an Instagram group of class of whatever for that specific college, and they would just make friends. And it's kind of like, what dorm are you going to be in? What dorm? And they were basically like trying to pair up to be dorm buddies. So by the time like
get
she already
there.
knows who her dorm buddies are going to be. She's already like made connections with them and has established some form of, I guess, a friendship with them
Yeah,
through
so that's
social
the good side
media.
of social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, she's going to be going there, but she's not like completely
Right.
Well, that's I know
isolated.
that for them because they're athletes,
And I
they,
think, yeah.
they room together with baseball players because of the fact that their schedules and stuff. Like you don't want to be rooming with an athlete when they have a game and you don't. Like you don't. So they try to
Or
kind
they
of
have to go to like practice or something at 5 a.m.
Well,
and
the
you're
thing
like,
is they
wait.
have workouts usually at 5 a.m. Like,
Oh,
do you
no.
want to be rooming with
Right.
somebody who's going to be up at 4 a.m. every day? Like, so they try to kind of pair up, like
Or as the
basketball.
athlete's going to practice, you're coming back from wherever.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like passing in the hallway.
Yeah,
kind of a
I
thing.
think for athletes it may be a little bit easier because they already come in
Yeah.
with a group that's going to be there, whether they all get along or not. You're still coming in belonging to a group already.
Okay.
So that's a plus
yeah.
for them.
So, and then how do you see, I guess, like in our examples, like we're all separated, divorced and stuff. But then you have those relationships that once the kids go away to college, it's kind of like, all right, who are you? And do I still like you? Because now we don't have the children.
Yeah, we've been raising kids for the past 18 years.
We've been keeping humans alive, and now I don't even know who you are anymore. So have you noticed, I mean, I hear about it, but have you noticed like things in marriages, relationships of now it's either they're starting over or it's we've done our job and now it's time to part ways?
Yeah.
Because I've heard of that.
Yeah, you
part.
hear both. I mean, I've heard both. But it's also about like, are you willing to put in the work to meet this new person, right? Because you're both new people.
Right.
And now you each have different needs. You're in different stages. Now the kids are out and everybody's just trying to meet each other where they're at. Hopefully throughout the relationship, you stayed connected, right? And now it's just about experiencing a different phase together. But yeah, there are many couples who just realize, yeah, you know what? We were in it for the parenting. Like there's still love as parents, but that's why we were in it.
Yeah.
And you do see like the family dynamic change and the family structure change when the kids are out of the house.
Wow. It's like when they say we stayed for the kids.
Yeah.
But I would think like from the child's perspective, it'd be like, well, shit.
It's like, yeah,
Thanks for putting all of that pressure on me. Like if you were unhappy, you
Right.
know,
Right.
kind of a thing. So
Yeah, I think as a kid or as an adult child of a couple that would split up right when you left to college, you'd be like, okay,
Wait,
What?
what?
questions.
It's like, wait, what?
how long have you been feeling like this? I'm trying to understand. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I mean, obviously, like I said, in our case, it's not the case, but, you know, I know that's something that is more common, especially who are you?
Right.
Do I even like you now?
Right.
Kind of a
And
thing.
those are genuine, valid questions, right? On both ends. Like, do we still like each other now that we're not running around just, being transportation for the children and raising these humans and keeping them alive? Do we still like each other?
So now a part of your practice that kind of, I guess, raised not an eyebrow for me, but like when you say like you also on women's issues, like define that. Like what exactly does that include?
So I've worked with a lot of women who have gotten out of domestic violence relationships or narcissistic abuse, which not necessarily is like physical abuse, but emotional and, psychological abuse, financial abuse, all of that. And I really love watching the process, right? Because any baby step is a big step for that kind of woman or man. There are men in those types of relationships too. So I work a lot with that kind of woman. Women going through parenting adolescent children puts a strain on relationships. Women going through grief, the sandwich generation, which is that generation that has the children that they're caring for and the elderly parents. That's very tough on a woman. So dealing with all of that, I love sitting with women and just talking about these things and empowering and taking baby steps and working with her to navigate all of that.
I always say like we, as humans in general, it's not limited to women, right? We really do have a very small window of when we get to truly enjoy life after children, because when you're parenting, you're in the trenches. And then once your kids are of age to kind of be self-sufficient, you have that very small window before you have to start looking at your parent who might be in their 70s, 80s, and it's okay, now I may have to start caring for them. So you might have maybe a decade to yourself and to your partner before, okay, now we have to start caring for other people. And then once I'm done there, it might be time
For someone to take care of you.
it might be my turn to be taken care of.
And for me, I had my children later. So my kids are 10 and 13 and my mother's, older. So I'm there.
You're the sandwich.
I'm there. I'm the sandwich. Yeah. And it's beautiful, but it's tough. But yeah, I'm in the sandwich generation. So I love navigating that with women and, who come to my office and trust me, navigating that too. So
Now you mentioned, because we know it's more common. I don't want to say it's more common for women to be the one being abused in a relationship. Because I definitely don't want to discount that men go through it.
Right.
From your experience and perspective, what is the most difficult or challenging thing for a man to kind of just say, yeah, this woman financially abused me, mentally abused me, emotionally abused me, physically abused me? Because 9 out of 10 times it's like, pero mira que grandón tú eres, and you're going to tell me this little, 5'4", I'm pointing at Yvette, I'm sorry. This 5'4" woman, whooped your ass, and look at you, you're un grandón.
I wish I was 5'4".
It's up with your wedges. I'm trying to give you a lift, my friend.
Yeah, so I think that adds a layer to it for a
Yeah.
man, because a man who says they've been abused,
Because I can imagine if there's
like
shame
even
for a
more
woman,
shame with that.
Yeah,
Like,
if there's
what do you mean
a
you
shame
got
for a
abused?
woman to say it,
happens.
like imagine
if,
for a
if
man.
it's not in you to hit a woman, to and the pattern for you has been that you're the pleaser, and you don't say no, and you allow whatever to happen with your partner, and you're a man. I mean, it just adds a layer to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, women can be controlling, they lie, the mood changes, the guilt tripping, and using financial control also. It's you see it, obviously, like you said, it happens more on the other end, but you do see men that go through all of these things.
Yeah, I'm just, again, it's something that you don't really hear about as much, so
Right.
I can't,
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Now, I may know of people who've gone through it. They've never talked about it per se. They've just never voiced it.
Right.
But I can
Right.
imagine there's a certain shame attached to it. So
Yeah.
wasn't sure like what
yeah,
you
there's
see.
there's the added shame, right? The societal shame. I mean, I think there's still shame in general when you're in one of those relationships, whether you're a woman or a man. But for a man, it's like twofold, because of what the man represents in this society.
Kind of along those lines, because we talked about one of the previous episodes where we had a male guest of how the male role has changed within society. And have you?
Funny, I saw that.
Okay, so like what? So if you saw that episode, like, do you have any thoughts on kind of like what that topic was and kind of along the lines that we were discussing? And do you feel there's a shift? Whether
The watering down of the masculinity.
Yeah.
And do you feel that there is a shift in that?
I have many thoughts.
Like,
I was
here's
not
the list.
expecting to discuss that.
it's just the conversation just flows.
Yes. So I have many thoughts, and we can all view masculinity in a different way, right? So is chivalry masculinity, right? Like opening the door, holding the door, paying,
Paying that first date.
paying that first date. I wasn't going to say like
damn
forever.
first
I mean
date.
like
Paying
the
that
first
first
date,
date.
holding the door.
That's a sore subject on
You
this
know,
one.
and all.
On the show.
So is that masculinity or chivalry?
Well,
Right.
what's the difference?
This is psychology podcast. What's the difference? So I don't know. What is the difference?
Because, and the reason I ask, right,
Uh-huh.
it's, everyone hears me talk about the dude. The dude she's my best friend. She is a lesbian, but she is chivalrous. We've all experienced it. You try and open the door, she'll tell you, you touch that door, I'm going to kick your ass. She's the one that will open the door for you. She's the one that if she invites the woman on the date, she will pay for the first date.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying, like, what's the difference between chivalry and masculinity? Because I would argue she is a chivalrous individual, but
Okay.
yet she's a woman.
Right.
So,
Right. And are we talking about masculinity in contrast to feminism? Like what is it that we're trying to get at? Like, are we looking at machismo or masculinity? Because there's a difference there too, right?
And I think that's
What do
kind
you
of
think?
where it becomes very gray,
Yes.
muddied. It
Because
becomes if I'm trying to behave masculine, a woman might mistake that to be machito or machita.
Right.
Where it's like,
Right.
no, I'm just trying to be the protector or
Right.
Or
whatever that
independent,
case may
because
be.
they always
Will
say
get,
that too.
I'm not gonna say offended, but like some they have that chip on their shoulder where I can pay my own stuff. I can do this, and it's like, but let them. Like if they're offering, like where.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I think that's where I think some of it is like watered down to where it's. do I open the door for her? I don't know. Maybe she'll get upset. Maybe like, imagine imagine being a guy and it's like, I don't know. Do I offer? Do I not offer? I don't want her to think that she doesn't have money. Like, maybe like, am I insulting her? Like, you know, her economic status if I say I'm gonna, you know, buy a pig for dinner.
Back in the day, you were invited on a date,
and it was expected,
and it was done.
Right, and so I think it's all about extremes, right? All extremes are bad. In my opinion, like, you know, that type of behavior where I'm offended if somebody pays for me or if somebody holds the door, then that's an extreme reaction.
You think that comes from trauma?
That's coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
That's coming from trauma. You know, so that like extreme feminism, that may be coming from trauma. We don't know. I don't know. But there is a difference. And you're right. Is it watering it down? I don't think so, because I think a man who takes pride in that, but then is told no, I don't think they would continue to pursue that woman, and vice versa. That's just my opinion. If I'm thinking about the way we work, that's not going to make me feel good as a man if that's the way I've always operated. And we're talking about masculinity and chivalry. We're not talking about machismo, which can come with a negative connotation, right?
Yeah.
So there's a difference there too.
So that was something. Well, you saw the episode that we chatted about in raising. I don't have boys, but raising boys in today's society of being chivalrous, being masculine, but
still making sure you take care of them.
Yeah.
Of your boy?
Of the boys, because they're they're boys. Oh, then I'm like, no.
No.
You still have to take care of them. You still have to make sure they don't do stupid things.
And boys are heavily at risk. We always think the girls are at risk.
And
boys are
not,
equally
like,
at
honestly,
risk.
Like, it's so easy for them to be accused of without merit. It's just one of those. All it takes, I say, is for one person to say something to ruin their life, and now they have to prove otherwise. And even if it's proven, there's that little asterisk.
Yeah.
That it's but.
Remember, they were accused. Remember? Yeah. Yep.
I mean, there's obviously a baseball player, Trevor Bauer. It's not a popular opinion at all. But Trevor Bauer gets accused of rape. Comes out, was not rape, consensual. Still has no MLB.
Still ruined his life.
Still ruined his life. He's over in Japan somewhere playing.
Yeah.
Because they won't touch him.
And it's happened to a lot of
and like
people.
those are things that I use that particular example for them because it connects to them, and I'm like, look, this wasn't true. Still no baseball. Like, still ruined his life. Don't do stupid shit. Like, be smart. like it's hard because it's so easy because of the Snapchats and the and I don't know. Like, now there's so much sex being sold. There's what is it? OnlyFans or the Feet Finder. Like, there's so many different like apps.
Feet Finder.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many different apps that are like sexual and like people are just selling it to where it's easy for them to almost like fall into that.
It's like, how do you protect them?
Yeah. And that's something, and we'll definitely have to have you back to dive much further into these topics because, along those lines of at least even my oldest is 23, even when she was in middle school and stuff, the whole social media, I can't imagine what it is now for that school age of the whole sexualization of things. Like, they know so much more. Like, sex ed is in, I think, 5th grade. By then, those kids know a lot more than what that sex ed teacher is talking about.
They are exposed way before.
Like, they can teach the class to the sex ed teacher. So that's definitely something we can dive into. And I know something that we've talked about before, which is also taboo, which might be a whole season within itself, will be like infidelity and things of that nature, and kind of root causes and things of that nature. So I know for this discussion, do really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
And
thank you so much.
Just remember, you can give us a snapshot of that little checklist.
Yes.
We can
That
post
little book,
it.
that pocket book.
We can post it, along with the episode, so folks can just print it out and take it on their date. Click here. But thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Really
thank you
enjoyed
so
the
much.
conversation, and we will definitely have you back.
Thank you.
And for all of you
great.
guys, thank you for hanging with Las Primas. See you next time. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you've been through something similar, hit our DMs. We love hearing your stories.
If there's a topic you want us to dive into, don't be shy. We promise to keep it 100% real and unfiltered.
Follow, subscribe, and share with your favorite primas.
Pero not really.